This week on a special episode of What Do You Got? Dating while wearing masks.
Plus, how much does it suck having tall friends?
Oh, I take that personally. And we're going to talk about Carole Baskin's defamation lawsuit because everyone had such a high opinion of her to begin with.
Defecation lawsuit.
Stay tuned, guys.
Great.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Andy Smith.
I'm Tim Fulton.
This is Zack
Kenworthy.
Kenworthy. And this is What Do You Got?
We're off to a good start already.
Yeah. So on What Do You Got, we all pick a random topic and we just bullshit about it for a little bit. And who's first up today?
I'm first up, and we're going to be talking about having tall friends, which neither of you guys can relate to because y'all motherfucking huge.
Yeah. We are the tall friends.
I came up with this topic about good 20 minutes ago when we were walking down to the studio, and I realized I couldn't see where I was walking because I literally can't see past you people.
Where are we going?
What do you mean, you people?
All right, so what about specifically tall friends that sucks?
I have never felt more self-conscious than when I'm around tall people. And there's something specific about being around multiple tall people that just makes you feel like an elf. Like the friend that gets to play along.
Okay.
I'm like a little brother.
Does it matter if you know the tall people or not?
I don't. Well, yeah, because I was up there being like, oh, I'm 5 foot nothing.
But
I'm
if you
100.
didn't know us, would you be like, shit? Or would you be like...
I already know where your mentality is going because, like, you're thinking in, like, a fight or flight mode. And
yeah,
that is,
I was going to say, like, I don't think that's what he's getting at. It's just, like, that could be any
yeah,
insecurity.
yeah.
What do you mean?
Like,
No, I just mean, like, if you know them, are you more comfortable around tall people, or are you just, like, more nervous around tall people?
I'm not more nervous. I'm more disappointed in myself.
Yeah.
I look at
It's
my...
a self-conscious thing.
Yeah. Dude,
Disappointed.
I'm disappointed. Do you know, in 8th grade, I was 5'8". I towered over children. Towered. Do you know how tall I am now?
8th grade?
I'm 5'8". I haven't grown, and I might have shrunk since 8th
Are
grade.
you 5'8"?
Shut up.
My mom's 5'8".
We're gonna go with 5'8".
My mom says I'm 5'8".
Question for you.
Yeah.
You're pretty tall as well. Like, we're almost the same height.
Yeah.
So, doesn't it freak you out when you see somebody that's significantly taller than you are because you're not used to seeing it?
Yeah. So, it's interesting because a lot of times when, and maybe you've had this too, sometimes I don't realize how tall I am, right? So, if I meet somebody like you, same size as me, when you look at that person, you're like, wow, he's really fucking tall. And then, like, you see a picture of you and that person.
And you're the same height.
And you're like, oh, we're the same fucking height.
Yeah.
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 It doesn't always freak me out, like, when I see someone taller than me.
But you notice it.
But you definitely notice it. But so does everyone else in the room. Because when you and I are 6'4",
Yeah.
right? When you're 6'5", that's different territory.
It is. It is a little bit.
That's totally different.
Yeah.
6'4" is the maximum that you could be as a tall, normal person.
That's like when they change the
You get
size of the
6'5",
socks.
You're a freak.
Yeah. That's like when they're like, oh, it fits sizes 6 to 12. And then mongrels after that. Like, just freak people.
Yeah,
get whatever
wrap potato
size.
sacks around
Yeah.
your feet, and good luck to you, Sasquatch.
I do notice, though, when I see somebody that's significantly taller, it's like you don't see it that often because not a lot. I mean, there's people that are 6'5", and it like definitely look taller. Like you can tell that they're either your height or a little taller. But if you see somebody that's like 6'7" or whatever, like it's weird because you're used to, first of all, being taller than everybody, and then on top of that, like they're then significantly taller than you are. So you're just kind of like, what is this? like it's like you're seeing Bigfoot's cousin or something.
I wonder if that's because you just never experience it. Like, I see
that's
taller people than me
what it
all
is
the time.
And we've talked about this too before, where like being tall, like we're so used to bending down to
It's
like listen to
annoying.
people, right?
Yeah.
Like in a crowded bar or something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
everyone else is like at like face height, so it's easier for them to talk. Whereas like
Yeah.
you and I always have to bend down to hear people.
Yeah.
It's funny.
So I think seeing someone taller, we're just not used to seeing that. I think it's just something we're not used to.
Yeah.
It took a lot of effort to get the camera set up in a way that Andy and I look the same size on the podcast.
If we switch seats.
When we switch seats, I look like a miniature doll, and Andy doesn't fit the frame.
Yeah.
It's disturbing.
Yeah.
And even
we
you
made
right
each
now,
other
you
look the same size in this.
we all look the same size.
Yeah,
in that.
as I'm looking at the screen, it's
There's a lot of
your heads are at the
Yeah.
Gotta have the right headroom, dude.
That was pre-planned.
yeah.
Yeah, that is a weird thing with being tall that I don't think people realize is that the amount of times that you have to have terrible posture just to hear someone if you're out somewhere. Like I'm the tallest person in my family by far.
Yeah.
And I hunch a lot, but it's weird because if I'm around people my height, I stand straight up. I don't know why that is, but when I see somebody that's my height, I will correct my posture.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, it's weird. If you're around short people, you're just like,
Yeah.
all right, like whatever. Like you don't want to walk around like, look how much taller I am than everyone else.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, my 5'8"'s looking pretty good. I don't have to have a broken back just to listen to motherfuckers.
Yeah,
I can hear everything.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, well, that's enough of you tall motherfuckers. What do we got next?
Zach's topic:
What was my topic?
mass
There's a
bar
screen!
fight in Carole Baskin.
Yeah.
Baskin.
So, I was reading recently.
That's shocking.
Big
You
steps.
know what? I know why I don't do this podcast.
Big steps.
And that is the end of the guest list.
So about Clifford in the
Yeah.
the dog park.
He's this big red dog. And
And he's 6'5". Look, the topics match. Glitches.
you know, they say Clifford got so big because little Elizabeth loved him so much, which probably explains why your dog is small.
Sounds like bullshit.
But no, so I was reading about this bar fight that just started over masks, right?
Okay.
Where there was some guy, he was like a local guy, right? He was a patron of the bar. Everyone kind of got along with him. He was like, 80 years old, right?
Yeah.
A 65-year-old guy
Oh
is
God.
like being rude to the waitresses and stuff, not wearing his mask, and this 80-year-old took it upon himself to walk up to him and be like, hey, like, knock it off. They described him as like an ex-Marine and all this stuff. So, obviously no fear.
Yeah.
80-year-old walked away. 65-year-old guy comes back into the bar and pushes him to the ground. Dude has an aneurysm
Oh, you're
and
about
dies
to.
immediately.
What?
Yeah.
Oh. He get booted?
No, they let him finish his drink.
No, like booted.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so where is he staying at and which hospital?
No. He's dead.
No, the guy that pushed him.
Oh, he is awaiting trial, and it's only for 4 years
What?
for involuntary manslaughter.
Okay.
I think there's a big difference between being 65 and being 80.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Like,
Huge difference.
if you push an 80-year-old, you're a piece of shit, right?
Yeah.
Except if you're 70 to 75, then it's kind of like,
It's weird.
it's two old guys.
It's weird too
You know what I mean?
because
But I think 65 is not at that threshold where it's like, oh, okay, they're fighting. It's like, you're 65, he's 80. You went and beat up an old man.
yeah, I like 95%, 100% across the board. 95% of the time works every time.
Yeah.
Agree with that
Well
statement.
said.
The one weird thing though is that like a 67-year-old and a 67-year-old could look like a 67-year-old and a 50-year-old.
Yeah.
Like they could be two
Yeah.
totally different people.
Yeah.
The other thing too is like, for me, it would have to be like the intent. Did the guy intend to kill the guy? Probably not.
No.
Well, that's probably why he got charged with manslaughter.
Exactly. Did he intend to embarrass him and hurt him? Yeah. But again, if you're 67, you're probably thinking, I'm an old guy too. Like, what the hell? But like,
Yeah. Well, and I did see a picture of the 80-year-old guy, and he didn't necessarily look 80.
that's another thing too.
Yeah.
But for sure, don't get into bar fights when you're past the age of
And he
Social
just
Security.
don't get in bar fights.
Don't get into bar fights when you're past the age of 25.
Yeah.
Like, if you're 60,
Yeah.
65,
Yeah.
65.
Spoken by
60
two ex-bouncers. Yeah.
That's different. That's different.
So immature.
But like, if you're 65 and someone is calling you out on being rude to a bartender, maybe you should fucking like consider your life choices instead of pushing an 80-year-old man.
It's weird though, man. Like the amount of times you see it.
Like this 65-year-old guy, he just sounds like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
On all accounts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a good look, especially someone died. That sucks.
That does suck.
That's you hear that very, not that they had the aneurysm, but going back to like when we used to work at bars, like that's one of the main reasons I never generally used to hit people ever.
Yeah.
Because the amount of stories that you hear about someone getting hit, falling, and just dinking their head on the concrete or on the tile, and then it's like, 3 to 5, and you're like, oh shit. Like, fuck that, dude. I don't need to hit someone that bad.
And even choking people out. You know, like,
that I did.
Kind of like, okay, the preferred method is choking people out. And I remember choking someone out and dropping them.
Well, that was your fault, sir.
No, absolutely. But
no one told you to do the safe thing and then do exactly what the dangerous thing was after that. Yeah. You were like, I got this. I'm going to skip the second seminar.
Yeah.
So I choked him out, and then I double tapped him, and he
died. You shouldn't drop a limp body from 6 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, and he was standing too.
I know. Yeah. I was there.
Oh yeah. Dude, I remember this dude's head hit like the concrete, and I was just like,
yeah,
because that is a sickening sound.
I remember walking over the body. And being like, what are you doing? And you're like, I didn't know he was going to fall like that. Yeah. I'm like, he was unconscious. How else could he have fallen? And then he literally, like, he got up and we're like, you're good. You're good, right?
Yeah.
You're good, right?
Yeah. And he didn't even realize that I had choked him out.
No.
Like, we're waking him up. And
yeah, he's gone. He ran down.
Like, dude, you're all right? You're all right? That guy. He's over that way.
Yeah. He's fine, though. Yeah. It wasn't good. No. But, all right, so Carole Baskin.
Yeah, so Carole Baskin now has a defamation suit against her by the
I heard about
husband,
this.
Right, by the former husband's family.
Yeah.
The guy that she killed. She obviously did it.
Allegedly.
Right?
Allegedly fed him to the tigers and explained how to do it on the show.
Well, but now the thing is, like, on Dancing with the Stars, which is, like, still baffles my mind that, like...
I could rant about that for the longest. It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, why would you want her on there?
She's not a celebrity.
Yeah.
Well, she's a COVID celebrity.
Yeah, there's a fucking difference.
Pull that bad boy right up to your little mug there, bud. Oh. We're just going to be way louder than you on the recording.
Actually, turn it a little bit, too, so the red light faces you. There you go.
Cool.
Okay, so Carole Baskin, defamation of character against the... She's got a suit, or she has a suit put on her?
She has a suit put on her.
Okay.
But wait, I want to go back to what you were saying, because you seemed pretty hot on the topic of her just being on Dancing with the Stars to begin with.
That's what I thought we were going to talk about.
Well, no, I did hear about the defamation lawsuit, too, but it makes no fucking sense. She's not famous. I mean, she's infamous at this point.
Yeah.
She's
Dancing with the mediocre reality TV celebrities is too long of a title.
They were already I've never watched the show. I think I've seen episodes because like my mother has it on, and so like you catch it out of the corner of your eye and you're like, all right, I'm fucking addicted. Maybe I'll watch an episode or two. Yeah. But outside of that, I don't watch the show. But I could say that they were already going downhill when they were like, all right, yeah, you third string defensive lineman for the Patriots. Yeah, you can be on our show. People kind of sort of know your name somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
Well, and then Carole, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, that show is on ABC, which is owned by Disney. So it's like, it's such an odd thing because Disney has like a tendency to distance themselves from anything like that.
Yeah,
so
if
this woman is an alleged murderer, like
you cool cats and kittens.
Yeah, it seems like such an odd choice to have her on. But what's really messed up, and the reason she has the defamation suit now, is because it seems like the show is playing off the fact that she could have murdered her previous husband. So, like, Bruno Tonioli, he's like, you didn't really kill the Paso Doble. And she's like, oh, I can't wait to kill it next week. And, like, you know, she's playing off that. So the family, and I think they have a legitimate gripe whether she did kill him or whether she didn't kill him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're profiting and making wisecracks off the death/disappearance of these three people's father, of the former secretary, of his former wife.
I want to
You know
ask
what I
you
mean?
a question.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I'm going to go full on, just piss off a lot of people right now. Could you imagine if that was a guy talking about, like O.J. Simpson, being like, yeah, I can't wait to cut into the competition next week.
Yeah.
Do you know how fast
that's a
that would
fair
be
comparison.
pulled off the
Yeah.
fucking air if someone was
Exactly.
joking about murdering a woman?
Yeah. And that's the thing. I guess like they feel like there's like a little bit of play here. Because,
No one cares about guys.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that could be it. But I think there's also like the fact that, you know, we don't know if she did it. And her biggest accuser was Joe Exotic, which how much stock can you put into anything he said?
All the stock.
However, watching the documentary, you kind of like, oh, she
Yeah, even the paranoid
probably did
crazies
that.
are right sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and exactly like you said, which I think they do have a legitimate gripe that she's like profiting off of.
Oh,
you know,
100% they have a legitimate
allegedly,
gripe.
you know,
Yeah.
murdering this guy.
At this point, that is her only claim to fame. She may have murdered someone.
Yeah.
And
That's
people
why
are
she got
super
super
and that's why
intrigued
it's so
about it.
sickening. Like if she keeps swearing, like, "No, I didn't kill him.
Yeah.
No, I didn't kill him."
But she's
then
not.
how dare you imply that you did, or make wisecracks? But like you would,
And it's still her
you
husband.
would just want to distance yourself from that
Yeah.
completely.
Here's the thing. They never found him. He just disappeared, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think that you might be, I don't know,
upset.
a little upset
Yeah.
that your beloved husband who started you on this journey of saving big cats has never been found? And you're dating a dude that looks like he fucks through the pajama pee-pee hole. Like,
That is the best description of that guy.
you know, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I would want some answers, not like just putting ploys about my allegedly just disappeared husband who
Yeah.
we've never found.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucked up, dude. And it's yeah. You got famous because they alleged that you killed your husband, and you were not like, no, I didn't. You were like, I didn't
Yeah.
kill him.
I mean, like, and what weird precedent does this set? Does that mean, like, if they have, like, a special Dateline and the guy does not formally get charged, that they're going to have, like, Dateline accuser number 1 on the show?
I haven't-
Like, what is the difference? There's no difference.
I have an odd comparison to this, and it's going to be odd for a couple reasons, but I think you guys might get it. So you know how, like, when guys that used to be in the mob get out of the mob and they become famous for whatever reason, because they were in a movie or a TV show, or they just have a, you know, something happen where they have like their own YouTube channel, whatever, right? Like they're known as being a mobster, like Henry Hill when he, you know, did the Goodfellas. There's a weird thing when those guys talk about doing illegal shit, specifically when it comes to like violent illegal stuff, where it's almost like if anybody else was saying those things, you would look at them like, what a fucking piece of garbage. But because there's like this romanticized thing with that life,
Yeah.
people look at it like, oh, dude, that guy's badass.
Yeah.
Like, in a way. Whereas she kind of has the same thing where people like snicker at the fact that she might have killed her husband.
Yeah, so when you're the main character of any story, people are going to sympathize with you, whether
Yeah.
you're a criminal or a murderer or you're the greatest guy in the world, you know, Captain America, right?
Yeah.
But like if there was a different documentary and it was just, you know, Mr. Lewis's family who are saying like, we are convinced this woman murdered our dad,
Yeah.
you would just be like, yeah, she's the worst.
Yeah,
She murdered that guy.
That actually
But
is a
because
really good
it
point.
was set on the stage of like this crazy guy says that she murdered her husband, and she wasn't necessarily the main character.
But
And everyone liked Joe Exotic at the beginning,
And then hated him at the end.
Right,
Yeah.
but like either way,
I wonder if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I have a detachment from the rest of society in that regards, where like I don't. It's very hard for me to see redeeming qualities in people once they're shown as bad. And
Yeah.
good example of that, although it's fictitious, is Game of Thrones. Jaime Lannister in the very first episode throws the kid out the window, right?
Right.
And everyone loves him by the end. They're like, oh, he had such a great redeeming arc. And I was like,
threw a kid out a window.
threw a child out a
yeah.
window with the intent to murder him.
Yeah.
Because he saw him sleeping with his sister.
Yeah.
And, like, again, it's fake, so it's not quite an equal comparison, but, like, I don't have the ability to ration that out.
Yeah, exactly. She's a strange one, though, because, like Jaime Lannister, she's not the main character, and she's not even supposed to be put into a good or bad light. And I don't know anyone that says, like, I think she's innocent. Everyone I've ever talked to about that show thinks that she killed her husband.
Yeah.
But it's almost looked at like, ha, next.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to solve it because he's been gone for a while.
And I think there's, like, something to be said for what you said in the beginning, where, like, if it was OJ and, like, I'm going to cut through the competition, like, the difference between being a woman and being a man being accused of that, like, when you think about it, she kind of has one of those romanticized stories, like, because if you remember the documentary, they said, like, the guy was kind of getting distant towards the end and, like, you know, he was no good or whatever.
Because he thought he was going to get murdered by his wife.
Yeah. Well, either way.
He literally said it, I think.
But that's the thing. Like, you know, when you have, like, that's one for the girls. She fed him to the tigers. You know what I mean?
The craziest part of that whole murdering thing before we move on is when he was talking about her doing something to murder someone, and she's like, that's not how you would do it. If I want to do it, I would do it like this.
I would put sardine oil on his shoes.
And then the fact that, like, everyone must have been looking around like, all right, can you get her now? Can you just arrest her now?
Yeah.
And they're just like, nope, just explain the whole murder.
Yeah.
Like OJ writing the book, If I Did It.
Yeah. I was actually about to mention that.
What?
Yeah. If I did it.
All right, next topic.
Next topic. Andy, what do you got?
I have dating during COVID. Now, this was a topic because I didn't have one before, and we mentioned it up at the house. So, right now, what is the dating scene like?
No.
Say how we mentioned it. Yeah, what is the dating scene like?
Not
nowadays?
great, Andrew.
What would it be?
Not great.
You can't go to bars to meet. Well, you can.
You
But
can
you can't-
now.
You can, but you can't even really say hi to someone because, like, when you're at a bar, you basically can only not wear a mask when you're sitting drinking. So even if, like, you're with a group of people and you, like, see a hot thing across the bar, you're going to get up, put your mask on, waddle over, sit down, take your mask off,
You just
and
gotta go.
be like,
Show me your
I
face.
hope this wasn't for nothing.
Show me your face. I don't want to waste money buying you a drink. How much of that
Show
goes
us your
on?
face.
Show us your face. We want to
Let's
see your face. Chappelle Show.
Chappelle Show.
I heard somebody actually, I think it was Bill Burr, he said the COVID test in the dating world is like the new AIDS test,
Yeah.
right? Because if you're meeting somebody you don't know, which is most dating
Most of the
websites,
time.
you know, that's got to be kind of spooky, especially if you used to going on a lot of dates. If you're somebody that, like, goes out a lot,
Yeah.
it's got to be kind of difficult.
It's weird.
I think everyone's made, you know, readjustments and, you know, they're prepared to not go out as much. But I can't imagine what it's like as a single person because that desire doesn't go away.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Whether from March to now, like, what do you do?
Yeah.
You know?
You end up with a
Like-
lot
like-
of pregnant towels.
Yeah.
A lot of pregnant towels and socks. A lot of little baby socks running around.
A lot of missing
A
cucumbers.
lot of 5'8" socks.
That one's going to be pickled soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, just the social aspect of just going out to, because some people don't, like, go on dates, like, from apps. Some people just go to a bar and they meet people and they just bullshit with them, and
Yeah.
that's how they. That was gone for a while.
Yeah, I think that's back now, but even still, like you were saying, your only chance is like an online dating thing where you can, like, plan and say, hey, I will meet you here. There's no chance of you really, or extremely lowered chances of you meeting someone just while you're out, seeing each other across the bar,
and even, like,
falling in love. The way me and Andy did.
Right. Even though if you do meet someone online, I mean, things are a little bit better now because things are opening back up. But if it was like April or May, when things were completely locked down. Say you want to go on a date with someone, you're talking for like 2 months.
Where do you
go? Let's go for a hike in the woods.
Yeah. Well, it's got.
I've never met you. Bring a friend for safety.
Yeah. So I have someone to dig the hole with. Yeah, that's got to be weird too, especially for like I sympathize probably more with girls because it's definitely way more risky for them to be like, I'm gonna come over to your house for the first time, stranger man, and like we'll see if I die.
Yeah,
basically. And granted, I think that gets thrown out all the time as a joke. I think most of the time it ends up being fine, but there is that fucking fear of like, yeah, what if somebody just doesn't want me to leave?
Yeah.
And I can't fucking leave.
Yeah. Well, and every one of those situations started out with someone saying, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I play a game with my buddy. It's been a while since we've done it, but if I go on a date with someone, I'll text him a question that he will know the answer to, and then when I'm done with the date, I text him the answer. So it'll be like, what did we eat the day you spilled shit on you in the mall? And then like when I'm done with it, I'll be like, hot dogs, motherfucker.
So you're like, I'm like,
that's my I'm genuinely alive. That way, if someone has like a gun to my head, for whatever reason, I have your mindset with this and this alone. But if someone has a gun to my head, I'll be like, hamburgers. We had hamburgers. And that's when the SOS goes out.
Yeah.
Hamburgers, not hamburgers. Call the cops.
Imagine your friend just like didn't get like that it was actually in trouble and was like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
You had this. And then it's just like, no, you're going to let the killer guy know. That was for us. That's it. So, all right. That's it for that's all I got for this one. That's all I got for What Do You Got?
All right. We're going to talk our way out of this one. Thank you, Zach, for coming on our show. It's been a hot minute since we've had a guest.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a hot minute since I've been on the bro down.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can come back in another year or two.
Sounds great.
While we're talking about things, don't forget to like and subscribe to our videos. Leave a comment in the comment section down below about what you thought about these topics. Are we assholes? Are we not assholes? Do you go on dates? Do you not go on dates? I forgot what we talked about. Fuck Carole Baskin. Don't forget to go to brodownpro.com. We change up a sale on there every single Tuesday. So if you have a certain thing you want to look out for, keep an eye on it every Tuesday.
We do. This week.
It changes every week. By the time this airs, you won't know what's going on.
Shit. Okay. I'll shut my mouth. Like and subscribe, everybody.
Oh, they told me what was going on. What was happening?
We'll catch you guys next time.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.